What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to talk about high probability London Killzone. Last week I talked about how to trade Killzones and I focused on how to trade the London Killzone. So in today's video I'm going to touch on high probability London Killzone. That is, I'm going to touch on what you need to see and what you can add as confluence to make your trading a high probability one. That is what you're going to add to make it a high probability trading opportunity for you. Okay, so that is what I'm going to explain in today's video. And if you watched the last video, you remember that I said that the London Open has the highest probability of creating the high or the low of the day, and I equally said that the London session sees the highest volume of order execution than any other trading session. So when I made mention of this, and I told you that the London Killzone is one of the best kill zones to trade. Okay, if you watch the video you will know this. So if you yet to watch it, I will link the video in description so you watch it after now. What we're going to do is that I'm going to show you things you need to add as confluence to make your trading setup a valid one. Things you're going to do to make your trading opportunity or trading setup during the London Killzone to be a high probability trading opportunity. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna need two different time frames, just like we did in the first video. We're gonna need two different time frames. The first time frame we need is the 15-minute time frame, and the 15-minute time frame we're gonna use it to map our structure. And we need the second time frame, which we could use the 3-minute time frame or the 1-minute time frame, and that particular time frame we're gonna need it as our entry time frame. Okay, we're going to need the second time frame as an entry time frame. Now what else do we need? If you actually watched the video where I explained earlier, just like I said you should come to settings and you should come to events and activate your session break. Okay, so a lot of people were finding it hard to do, so I have to calm down and explain it right now. You select session breaks and press OK. So when you activate your session break, it's going to divide every trading day. Price is going to break it separately so you can differentiate each day. Okay, so like here, this is the 26th day of July, here is the 25th day of July, and here is the 24th day of July, just like that. Secondly, what we need to do is we're going to put the session indicator, which will help us identify the specified time which we trade the London Killzone. We trade the London Killzone during 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. New York time. That's what I said. And make sure if you come to time zone right here that your time is at UTC -4 New York time. Make sure your time zone is at that particular area, and then you can come to your indicators. When you come to indicator, you can search for session on charts. The particular indicator I used for that example is sessions on charts. Okay, so this particular one right here, you can see it's session on charts by AU Rocks AIF. Okay, this particular one activates the indicator, and you're gonna see the indicator is going to show. So here is the indicator right here. So now if I try to activate this indicator, you can see this indicator is helping me to select the specified time, which is 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. New York time. Okay, the indicator is going to help me identify that particular time very easily without stress. So if you go to the settings, just like I did, I deactivated New York session, I deactivated Tokyo session, I deactivated Sydney session, and I only activated the London session. Now when you come to the settings of the London session, you're going to choose 2 o'clock, and over here you're going to choose 5 o'clock. And this is just the simple settings I did that day, and a lot of people were confused about that, and they asked questions that I should explain it properly so they can be able to follow. These are just the few settings you need to put on your price charts before we start trading with this strategy. But for now, I don't need this particular one. I don't need both the session indicator. Okay, we're gonna need this. Let me explain right now, but I remove the session indicator for now. So how are we going to trade this particular strategy? So when you are on the 15 minutes time frame, so let's say here is the previous trading day, and finally market close right here, and now we're seeing the Asian range over here. Now that we have the Asian range, what are you going to do? You're going to look for your specified time, which is 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. New York time. So here is your 2 o'clock New York time, and over here we have the 5 a.m. New York time. Okay, that's 6, so I have to take it to 5. So this is 5 a.m. New York time. So in this particular case, since I said that price is likely going to form the high or the low of the day during those specified time. So in this particular case, what can you actually see? You see this was the Asian range, and price sweeps the liquidity at this particular high. Okay, price sweeps the liquidity at the Asian range. Price took the liquidity at this particular area. So according to how I explained you should trade this strategy, I said once price takes the liquidity at this particular high during the specified time, what you're going to do is you're going to drop down to your lower time frame to look for your entry confirmation. But if you want to add more confluence to make it a high probability trading setup, what you should do is you should be able to read the market structure. So let's say from this area that price has been in the downtrend, okay, and now you see the liquidity sweep above this Asian high. It could give you the confidence that price might reverse to the downside following the overall trend. And apart from following the trend, what else can you actually see from here? You can see we have another block right here. Okay, you see price left another block. Now we see a liquidity sweep, price sweeping the liquidity above the Asian high, and now price taps into another block. Now when you see something like this, it could give you the confidence that this is a very good place to take a trade. Now to add more confluence, you have to drop down to your 1 minute time frame or your 3 minutes time frame to look for your entry confirmation. And what is the entry confirmation we need to see? We go down to the lower time frame to see if we can get a market structure shift. So when we get something like this, that is a change of character or what we call a market structure shift, this is a very good trading setup, and you could look to trade to the downside. And that is the same thing if you want to look for a trade. So this is a very simple strategy. This is how you could trade the London Killzone to make it a high probability one. I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to show you 2 or more examples, and that is going to be the end of today's video. So let's move to the price chart right now. Let me show you some of these examples. So from here, what can we actually see? Right here you can see this is a session break indicator. It's helping us to identify this particular trading day. Now if we try to go to the specified time, that is 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. New York time, that's the particular time we look for this kind of trading opportunity. Now activating my indicator or activating my session indicator, what you can actually see from here is that this is the specified time. Here is the 2 a.m. New York time, and over here is the 5 a.m. New York time. And from the way I said you should trade this strategy, what you should do is you should map out your Asian high, and from what you can see, this is the Asian high, and over here this is the Asian low. And if you look closely, if I try to zoom in the more, what you can see is that price sweeps the liquidity at this Asian high. You can clearly see that. Just like I explained, to make it a high probability one, you have to look from your left and see what we have. And if you look from the left, you can see price has been in a downtrend. You can see this is a massive downtrend. Price has been pushing to the downside for some time now. Price has been in a downtrend. Now if you try to look over here, you can see that we have a point of interest right here. We have another block right here. You can see if I try to map it out, we have this other block. And why is this a valid other block? If you watch me how I trade my other blocks, you can see that this is a liquidity sweep, and price pushed massively to the downside, breaking below this low, and price went ahead to break other structure. You see we have another break of structure over here. So this is a valid order block for me, and you can see we still have some fair value gaps inside this order block. So this was a good one. And what you can actually see is that this was the specified time. Price sweeps the liquidity at the Asian high, taps into the other block, and you can also see that price filling the inefficiency right here. You see this fair value gap, price taps into this fair value gap. Now seeing all these things, this makes this trading opportunity a high probability one. That is this Killzone trading opportunity. It's a high probability one because firstly, price is in a downtrend. Secondly, price taps into an order block when during the specified time, that is during the London Killzone time, and we equally have a sweep of liquidity, price sweeping the Asian high. And if you could remember, the London Open has the highest probability of creating the high or the low of the day. So there is a high probability that price is going to create the high of the day over here. And what can we actually see? Price taps into this area, taps into the other blocks, taps into the fair value gap, and it pushed to the downside without coming back to this particular high. So if you wanted more confluence, what you're going to do is you're going to drop to the lower time frame and look for your entry confirmation, and this is going to be a very good trade for you because you see price push to the downside massively. We have a little pullback and a continuation to the downside. So this is how you can actually trade high probability London Killzone. So let me show you one more example. And here, this is EuroCard, the 15-minute time frame, and I'm going to use it for the second example. And from what you can actually see here, if I try to zoom out, you see that price has been in an uptrend. So this is going to help you know that price might possibly form the low of the day during the London Killzone if you actually follow the rules. Okay, so from what you can actually see here, today is the 14th day of July, and what you can see is that this is the high. Okay, this is Asian high, and over here this is Asian low. This is Asian low. Now if you look from your left, you can see we have an order block. This is an order block right here, and you can see price broke internal structure. Even though we didn't have a major break of this particular high, we didn't have a break of this high right here, this particular high, but what you can actually see is that price broke internal structure, and it can also be considered as a break of structure. Now during the specified time, that is during the London Killzone time, 2 a.m. New York time, we see a sweep of liquidity. This sweep of liquidity is simply price taking the stop orders at this particular low. Price sweeps the liquidity, tap into this particular point of interest right here, that is into this order block, which we add as a confluence to build high probability trading ideas. And what can we actually see? Price push to the upside. We see this break of structure over here. The most important thing is that once price taps into this particular area, into the zone, what you can do is you can drop to your lower time frame to look for your entry confirmation. And from what I can actually see here, I can actually see the entry confirmation from this particular area, because you can see when price taps into here, this was a high and price takes the high. Now where could you look to enter a trade? That's if you drop to the lower time frame, you could look to enter from a fair value gap, and you can see we have a very good fair value gap right here. But if you wanted to trade from another block, you see we have another order block right here which you could look to trade from. So this I'm doing right here, this is what you should do in the lower time frame. But what you can actually see is price comes back, taps into this particular zone, and we see a massive push to the upside. So this is what you can actually add into trading your London Killzone to make it a high probability one. I think this is the second time I'm talking about the London Killzone. Maybe some other time, maybe the next video, I might talk about the New York Killzone or the Asian Killzone. Okay, so I might talk about that anytime from now. And I hope you got value from what I just explained in today's video. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm Solomon Wisdom, and here is Born to Trade. Consider being part of this family. Okay, thanks very much, and see you in the next video.